Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole Laino. Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everyone. I'm your host, Nicole Laino. It's the holiday season. We're getting into it, and I'm so happy to be here with you today to be talking about this topic. So I work with high achievers. I tend to work with people who have big goals, usually entrepreneurs, with some people in the corporate space, but everybody has a big goal, whether it should be the best version of themselves where they're doing the soul searching, but usually there is some big tangible goal that they're after. It might be money, or they have the money, but now they want the fulfillment, and they know that somehow those secrets are locked within themselves. So they feel stuck in some area of their life. And maybe you feel like that too. Maybe you're sitting here right now and you're saying, I am in this position, but I really wish I was over there. And I feel like I should be. I feel stuck in some way. And like I've said before on this show, stuck does not necessarily mean that your life sucks. It doesn't mean that you are destitute. It doesn't mean that you are poor. You could be stuck at 6 figures and you want to get to 7. You could be stuck at $50,000 and you want to get to 80,000. It could be anywhere along the line, or it could be you're just starting out and you're like, I don't know how to get started. It could be anything. But in this world of achieving, there's usually this feeling of, I want to overcome this current obstacle so that I can get to the goal or the result that I have set for myself. And with that comes a certain amount of unrest, where no one's ever happy being stuck at the level that they're at. And part of the lesson is to be grateful for where you are, where you've come from, where you're at right now, what you do have, and also want more at the same time. So to not be in this state of pushing, which I see so much. I see so many people where they're missing the moment and only looking to the future and only looking to what they don't have yet. And they're not appreciating what they have right now. And that's not just a cosmic thing. It's just going to keep you more stuck because you're in frustration. It's triggering what we look at in human design as your not self theme. Now, there are all ways to look at this, and shadows are a key to unlocking our potential. Because that's really what we're talking about. If we're stuck, somehow we are not reaching our full potential in some way. And the more we unlock our potential, the easier it gets to reach these new heights, to achieve and receive the things that we have asked for, that we have been working toward, right? So shadows hold a real key to unlocking our gifts, to unlocking our potential. And everybody seems to have a solution for how to get unstuck. But if you're listening to this, if you've done any personal development work, you've tried some things and they haven't worked. You've heard from somebody that this is the thing that blew the doors off for them. And when you did it, it didn't quite have the same effect on you. Sometimes we just haven't done it enough. That happens a lot. Shadow work's not fun. Digging into ourselves in a real way, really going into our stuck themes is not a fun practice. So a lot of us bail on it before the magic happens. But the other thing that happens, and I found this when I was working with people, I'm an EFT practitioner, I'm a master NLP practitioner. I have all these certifications that were really designed. I was obsessed with becoming the best version of myself as a peak performance coach. Like that's innate in what we do. How do we get to peak performance? How do we get to unleashing, unlocking, and living our full potential? But I could spend a really long time looking for the shadows that people had. And most of the time they're hidden from us. So what human design gives us is this really amazing map. It gives us codes to tell us which doors are locked and what key might be best suited to unlocking that door. And one of the big ones that I like to work with are the lines. And now there's profile lines. I'm a 5-1. So that means I have a line 5 and I have a line 1. Now, we did an episode a few weeks ago on this show. It was episode 214. It was called The Shadow of the 4-Line. It actually came from a member of our Human Design Lab membership, asked this question in the group, and I decided to answer it on the show because it was such a good question and I thought it would really serve the audience. And since that episode got a really great response, it really spoke to people. I got so many DMs from that episode. There've been a few that I've just gotten an outsized number of reach outs, completely organically, people just reaching out to me being like, this one spoke to me so much. This opened so much for me that I decided that I was going to do a series on these. So we are actually going to look at the different wound. We're going to look at it through the line 1. So the shadow of line 1. So we talked about line 4 and we went into that. If you have a 4 line in your profile, please go listen to that. If you have kids who have a 4 line in their profile, go listen to that because it'll be really helpful for you to understand where they might go. Our shadows are never gone. They never disappear. I always say that if you were looking at the wall behind you with the light behind you, then you would see the shadow. Now, if I turn and face the light, does the shadow disappear? No, I'm just not looking at it. I'm not putting my attention on it. So what do I see? I see light. And I want you to start thinking about that when you think about your shadows. It isn't about making them go away. You will never do that. That's a fool's errand and it'll only make you feel bad about yourself. So they're going to pop up. They're going to show up. But can you get to a level of acceptance of them where you can see them and not feel like a failure? And that's my goal with these is can you see these? And instead of going down the rabbit hole of feeling like you're doomed because of them, that there is a gift inside. And if you just spend less time in that shadow, if you just don't get caught up in it, and if you heal what needs to be healed in that space, and you can look at your world and the challenges that you face to say, how might this be coming through this shadow? Then you will start to see a lot in your life change. And this is a process that can only be experienced. It's very difficult to understand this from the purely understanding perspective. I highly recommend if this is touching you, if this is reaching you, this message, please go try it. Okay. So let's talk about that shadow of the line 1. The line 1 is the investigator. So if you have a line 1 in your profile, there's going to be this theme of researching, becoming an expert, really loving to go to the depths of knowledge on a topic. You might become an expert in something. I have a 1 on my unconscious side. I'm a 5-1. Human design is my 1 line 6 because I can go so deep into this knowledge. And most people, when I speak to them, that's not something I have to work very hard to convey. My gift is that I'm an expert in this topic and I own that. So that's the gift. There's lots of gifts of it. There's creativity. There's that depth of knowledge. There's being so knowledgeable that you are seen as an expert. People love to have you around because they're just like, I feel like I could ask you about almost anything and you'll know something about it because we just store information. Why? Because it lights us up. Healing is a big gift of the 1 line. We are healers. We can be very introspective is a way to look at the 1 line as well. There is this individuality to the 1 line where it can become a little self-absorbed in that way, where we look inward and it can be very self-critical. And that's what we're going to talk about. So those are the gifts. The gifts of the 1 line are this creativity, the depth, the individuality, healing ourselves and potentially others, depending on what your purpose here is and what feels good to you. But like all gifts, in order to be felt and experienced by you and the people around you, you need to transcend the shadow. You can't get caught in the shadow or the gift doesn't emerge. And this is an ongoing practice of staying out of the shadow, noticing when the shadow comes up, shifting into the gift, releasing it, accepting it. But this shadow of the 1 line is about fear. There's a vibration of fear that comes along with the 1 line. And if you listen to my episode on human design motivation, the 1 line resonates with the vibration of fear. That is what it is here to do. It wants security. It wants a foundation. And what happens with the 1 line is if you get caught in the fear, if you get caught in the shadow of this, all the fears come up. I'm afraid that I don't know enough. I'm afraid I'm not creative enough. I'm not enough of an individual. I'm not healed enough. I live in lack. And ultimately, the core fear of the 1 line is I'm afraid of my own potential. So what do? I hide from putting it out there. I hide from really stepping into it and saying, this is who I am. Do you know how hard it is for me to say that I'm an expert in human design? To not go into that imposter syndrome of saying there have been people who have been doing this for decades. There are people who have more certifications than me. There are people who studied with Ra. To not get caught up in that and to own what I am and to own what I know and to own my perspective and my depth and my own way of seeing this and my way of transmitting this energy, this system. People hear it differently from me. So I have to own that. That doesn't come easily for me at all. And I see this, my son's also a 5/1. Poor thing. It's an interesting thing observing it in my child and also being it. We get what we need in life. But my son is a 1 line, and I see this in him, how incredibly hard he is on himself and all of the potential that is there for him and his fear of really going after it. So it's my job as his mom to help him overcome that fear, to help him feel held in taking risks, in stepping up. So if you're a 1 line, and I like to keep these episodes short, so I'm going to wrap this up here and leave you with something to ponder. If you are a 1 line, where are you hiding from your own potential? Where are you afraid of it? Where are you not owning your potential? Where are you letting the world dictate how good you allow yourself to be? How are you hiding? That's a really powerful question for you to ask continually. And where can you go deeper? And where are you going deep out of fear that you don't know enough? It's a fine line we have to draw. One of the things that I do is I keep going deeper, but I can't be the expert until I finish this. That's the trap. I can be both. I can be an expert and still be mastering my craft and going deeper into my craft and understanding more aspects of this and experimenting with it more and teaching it in different ways. I can still do all of that while I hold the identity of being an expert here, of being a creator in this space. So I leave you with that. If you want to go deeper into your profiles, we actually have a masterclass on profiles, which is free. If you DM me the word profiles on Instagram, I'm at Nicole Laino Official. We will send you the link to that masterclass and you can go through it for free. Or you can go to our website. We'll link it up in the show notes here. If you prefer to just go to the website for that, we can do that for you too. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Please subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of our episodes. Please let us know if you have questions. We will be happy to answer them here on the show for you. So thank you so much for being here. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thank you for letting us help you on your journey of becoming unshakable with human design, everyone. We'll see you next time. If you love this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to NicoleLaino.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.